I'm here today with Patrick Hamann, who is the president of Urban LUX Builders in San Antonio. Welcome, Patrick. It's good to see you.
Hey, great to see you, Rich. Thanks for having me today.
Sure, you bet. So before we get into the questions I have and the discussion we're going to have, maybe you could just give us a brief overview of Urban LUX Builders in San Antonio and tell us what you build and all of that.
Sure. So we're a small custom builder in Northwest San Antonio. We build a little bit of everything. We do some townhouses, first time move up, and then full high end customs up to 1.5, $1.75 million.
Okay,
So pretty
wow.
much anything from 250, 300 on up.
I wanted to bring you on because every builder faces challenges in their business. And this last few months have been especially challenging to a lot of builders, most builders, I imagine, around the country. Um, in what ways did it challenge you?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge, made for a lot of on the fly changes for us as far as how we operate. The the biggest thing obviously was when things shut down. It made it a little bit more difficult to communicate with people, meet with people. You didn't have the people coming out to your models, taking a look at things. So that that really was, probably a 2 to 3 week period for us where it was almost a retreat. We were still working, trades were still working, but you just didn't have any client communication for the most part.
Right, right. So, okay, so you basically are shut down. There's no traffic. You're not getting any phone calls, internet interest. You're just basically kind of everybody's in shelter. How did you kind of find a way to re-engage with them?
Really, it was social media. We uh, we started doing Facebook Lives on Friday afternoons. We did a couple on Saturday mornings, and basically just reached out to our audience that way. We do a lot of social media advertising, and we're pretty active on Instagram and Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Do a lot of Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and so we said, what the heck? Let's give it a try. They can't come to us. Everybody's starting to do stuff virtually, doing Zoom meetings like this. And so we just went at it. And we had, there was like maybe 46 people the first one. And about 5 weeks later, we were up to over 500 people viewing at one point. So it
Wow.
definitely was getting to people, and was pretty interesting to see the growth so fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. So explain kind of what you mean by a Facebook Live. So you you had someone with a camera that kind of walked the house with you. How did that actually kind of come about?
Yeah, so we did it in conjunction with a marketed agency, my social media team. And basically, she came out with an iPhone and a gimbal, and we just would start out on the back patio of one of the townhome units and kind of talked, invited people to chat, send questions in. We would do stuff on the fly with them that way. And then as the time allotted, we would go unit to unit and just kind of give them a virtual tour, walk through it, talk about the unit, size, features that were in it, upgrades, just the things that people would be interested when they're looking at a house. And
Was
you
was
know,
there a was there any kind of an interactive aspect to it? I imagine on Facebook Live you could get comments or reactions or something as you're going, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We get a lot of reactions. We did invite people to comment, as well as we use a chat app called Telegram, um, which allows you to have up to 200,000 subscribers or participants in a group. It's really focused more towards
Wow.
business. But that allowed them they could send chat messages in, and we would answer them on the fly or discuss them on video if they didn't send it in via the Facebook Live itself.
Okay.
Um, so that was how we got to communicate with them, and it was pretty cool. We actually sold a one of our spec houses completely virtually. Never met the buyers until the day of their walkthrough, which was the morning of their closing.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so that was my next question is kind of how you quantified the results from that. I mean, obviously you went from like you said, 46 people, which is impressive enough, but up to 500, a few weeks later. Were there other benefits to that? Maybe just collecting that information, or at least, having that kind of audience that then you could reach out to with additional content, or just knew that we're paying attention to you?
No, I mean, it definitely, you didn't so much capture leads unless people, specifically were asking for stuff and say, here's my information, send us stuff. It really was, in a way, just a branding things for them to be familiar with us and what we did, what we build. But I really think things are going to change. I mean, you see the younger generation on FaceTime, all the time. They can't get their faces out of their phones. And so I really think you're going to see more interaction like this, using, bomb bomb video to communicate with people when they send information in. And you can send them a short video back, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, thanking them for contacting you and actually putting a face with who's answering. It gives them a level of comfort. I think it substantially increases the trust because it's a real person responding to them, not just somebody sending a quick text or an email back.
Right.
So
Right.
I think this really will change the way we do business, going forward forever.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this, if anything, this has pushed us into a mainstream use of this kind of technology, and there's no reason for it worked. So there's no reason to go back to what we were doing before. Um,
Absolutely.
so let's talk a little bit about innovation and what you've done. I think, in the strategy that you had to kind of address the challenge would be and is innovative to most builders. Is that what you count as kind of the most recent innovation? And maybe there's others that you've incorporated. I know that you talked about high performance as well.
Sure. So I definitely think that we'll keep using this. We may not do the Facebook Lives every week, but maybe a bi-weekly thing, or excuse me, bi-monthly, thing, so we can stay engaged with the buyers. We still put, short videos out there, clips of units, on the social media. And then as far as the high performance, we really do focus on that. But one of the things that we started doing about a year and a half or so ago, maybe almost 2 years at this point, was incorporating the Super V air filtration system from Healthway into all of our houses. And literally, it doesn't matter the price point. We include it in every single house. It's a medical grade air cleaner, and it really couldn't be more of a conversation starter than what we've been dealing with in the pandemic here. So,
Right. Right.
it started as something to deal with allergies for us, because in Texas, so many people have cedar fever and all kinds of allergies. But now with the pandemic and that filter being medical grade and really just a residential version of what Healthway puts in hospitals and hotels and movie theaters and places like that, it's a huge selling point for us.
That's great. Yeah, that's terrific. We did, you were gracious enough to be a part of an article we wrote about that system and some other HVAC innovations a while back. And yeah, it seems like, especially now, it's very poignant. So excellent. Thank you for that. And thanks for being with us. I appreciate your time and wish you the best going forward.
Well, thank you. You too. Thanks for having me on. And we look forward to talking with you in the future.